Hey, welcome to Things I Learned Last Night. This is a comedy podcast where you learn something new every week. This week is no different.
Yeah, we're learning about the guy that did Nam.
Yep. Forrest Fenn is a Vietnam veteran and wrote a very controversial book.
Yeah.
And led hundreds of thousands of people on a chase. So, I think you'll like it. This episode comes out on May 20th. So next month I am on the church comedy tour. Would love to see you at my shows. Woo! Sure. And, we'll be in Florida, in North Carolina, Ohio, Alabama, Texas. It's a very good time. So please come to those. All of my shows, as always, jaronmyers.com/shows. What do you got? Anything to add?
I don't have any shows coming up.
All right. Here's the episode.
Hey, man.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of Forrest Fenn?
Forrest Fenn?
Forrest Fenn.
No. Forrest Fenn. Okay.
Here, let me show you a picture. We'll see if you can tell who he is from this photo. Can you guess now?
Oh, he's on the phone and looks concerned. This is a stock image that you would for a person who is getting the call from the police that their son is in custody and they don't know why yet. He's just like, okay. Who's Forrest Fenn?
Here, let me tell you. What about now? Can you guess if you see this picture?
This is the stock photo of a guy. Man, he's got so many. I love this house. So many books. Are those books? Yeah.
None of them are real. They're all show books.
Whatever's the top, pottery at the top. Is that what that is? Weird.
I think so. Yeah.
What is with old guys this age and this hat? So a lot of dudes in their 60s have the Indiana Jones hat, and I really do think it's because when they were young adults, the Indiana Jones movies came out, and they were like, "That's so cool."
I wish I was that guy.
Now they got old. They're like, "I can afford.
I can be that guy. I can afford that hat now."
Straight up,
with my retirement,
old
my pension.
The Indiana Jones hat is crazy.
My pension will give me that hat. My pension will restore my dreams.
Old dudes love the Indiana Jones hat the way Gen Z loves crew socks. Same kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like they're like, "Oh, dude, the trendy old guys are all wearing the Indiana Jones hats."
Yep.
Tell me the story, buddy.
Oh, here, see if you can guess from this.
I don't know.
What about this one? Here he is pointing at a map. Okay, fine. I'll tell you about the guy.
Forrest Fenn.
Forrest Fenn.
Forrest Fenn.
Forrest Fenn.
Roll the theme song. We're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back.
Things I learned last night.
Okay, so Forrest Fenn, born in August 22nd, 1930,
okay.
About the same time as the tariffs. Didn't work.
That was an insane thing to bring up. Sure. All right.
No, so
you can always tell when we're recording stuff by like the stuff that, because like if you line the episodes up with like current news stories, you can probably figure out loosely when we record stuff.
Yeah.
I did that whole rant on the Department of Education a couple weeks ago in that episode, and that was like the day that it was announced that they're like trying to cut it the hard. And so we were like, and then today you're just like, remember in the 30s when they put in the tariffs and then it tanked everything? Yeah. Actually, the tariffs were before the 30s.
No, it was 1930. They enacted it in the middle of they enacted it in the middle of the Depression to try to lessen the effect of the Depression.
But it didn't work. There was a set of tariffs that
there might have been another set. I'm talking about
two. Oh yeah, for sure. They were like, okay, we've dug a hole. Let's dig a bigger one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm talking about the 1923 tariffs.
Let's see, 1923. History of terrorists in the United States.
So this week's episode is about this, I guess, just because you were like 1930s. Freaking crazy person over here. Tell us about Forrest Fenn.
Oh yeah, Forrest Fenn. So in 1930,
Keep your political
he was born
opinions to yourself.
In 1930, he was born, and he came up with terrorists.
That's the thing. Listen, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so tired of people talking about politics." No, you're not. You're tired of people talking about politics you don't like. Let's be honest about it, because you like it when people talk about your politics. You love it, actually. You love when people talk about your politics. What you don't like is when they talk about the politics that you don't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I wish, because I wish people would be more brave and stand up for what they actually believe. And then when they do, you're like, I wish that they would quit talking about this all the time. You're like, freaking, which is it?
Speaking of standing for what you believe, show me your shirt. Stand for what you believe.
No context unless you're a true fan. True fans know what it means to honk and bonk. All right? If you're new to this podcast, figure it out.
Yeah. There's only 200
Go back
some odd
to the old
episodes
catalog
to watch
and figure out what it means to be a honker and a bonker.
Yeah, you got a lot to listen to.
Honking and bonking.
To listen. A lot to learn.
Honestly, listening back and trying to find that is like rolling the dice.
It is kind of interesting because if you're one of those people who like starts a podcast like at the most recent and goes backwards.
Yeah. Our show doesn't make any freaking sense.
It takes you 267 episodes to figure out why we say fiddle off at the end of every episode. You're like, I don't get why they do that.
If you're a person who finds a podcast, you found this episode and now you're like, okay, I'm going to go start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, they were really bad at audio back then.
Wow.
Yeah, Alex has gotten a lot better over the years.
Yeah, he learned some things.
In the beginning, he was terrible.
Yeah, we sent him to sound school.
We sent him to sound school after he flunked out of clown college.
We hired him to be a clown at first.
Forrest Flynn.
No, Fenn.
Forrest Fenn.
Forrest Fenn.
Okay. Forrest Fenn.
Okay, so he was born in 1930, and then in Temple, Texas.
Okay.
And then he did what a lot of people did in that time, and he joined the Army. He went to the Army.
Yeah.
Well, he actually went Air Force.
Eventually obtained the late 40s.
I don't know what year he would have gone.
I saw a guy at the airport the other day.
Yeah.
Who had a pin on his hat that said Cold War veteran. And I just, Yeah,
I don't know if it counts.
Yeah, you don't get to wear a pin for I almost went.
Yeah. I could have at any time.
Bad to say?
At any time, I could have.
I
was ready at any moment.
I was on the edge of my seat.
I could have at any moment.
You're like,
at any minute. I was staring at the sky, waiting for the bomb to drop.
Cold War vet. I don't know if that counts. Alex wrote it down just in case.
Just in case, we'll look it up if it counts.
But he was walking through the airport, and I was like, buddy,
did you confront him?
Yeah,
Stolen valor.
I stood in front of him. I said, "Excuse me, sir." That's crazy.
No, so Forrest was awarded the Silver Star for his service in Nam. He did Vietnam. Here we actually have a picture of him.
Vietnam. He did Vietnam. He got a Silver Star from Nam. He did Vietnam. You might recognize that of the fame Vietnam. Jeez, dude. He did Vietnam. Okay. So did he have a Purple Heart as well?
Yeah, he got a Purple Heart, a Silver Star. He was a pilot. So in the middle of Vietnam, he in a span of 365 days, he flew 328 combat missions. Wow. A ton. And one of them, he actually went blind.
No, you're not. You're
I'm messing with you.
My gosh.
So, does the war thing. Does that for a little while. Comes home back to the States. And here's the thing. Okay. This is something that I feel like you hear about from ancient history was a thing that happened all the time.
Okay.
And I think it still happens. If you're a war guy, leave it below in the comments. Let us know if this still happens.
Hey, calling all war guys. Hey, did you do war?
We're losing it, man. We're losing it.
Yeah.
No, this is you hear about all the time in like ancient wars, like the pillaging thing, where like they went in and they just took stuff. They're like, oh, this is my stuff now.
Oh, geez, did this guy pillage?
He comes back from the war and he has a bunch of rare artifacts all of a sudden. No real like explanation of where they came from.
That's how Hobby Lobby got those tablets too, right?
Yeah, the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
The Bible.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
they got the Dead Sea Scrolls. It wasn't tablets; it was the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Right. No, I thought
they got in trouble for that.
I thought they had a couple tablets they had to return.
I mean, maybe he comes back.
Yeah,
has all these artifacts.
Sure. What kind of artifacts are we talking? We have pictures of them. Is that what he was standing in front of in that other photo?
Yeah. So this is like, I mean, up there you can see a lot of his pottery that he managed to get. I bet a lot of these books. Over on the side there, it looks like there's a doll hanging from the wall.
That's his wife.
Okay.
Or at least that's what he like.
And
his
then
wife passed away, but he's got this doll that he's like, she's in there.
Yeah, her ashes are in the doll.
No. Well,
he opened up a baby doll and just poured the urn in the doll.
Have you seen these people online? These are people that exist in the world who they call themselves fake moms.
Oh, where they had the doll?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Do you have a thought to go with that, or did you just want me
to
remember they exist?
I think there was a push that we made to be more authentic on the internet, and I think we went too far. I think we should dial that back quite a bit.
Yeah, bring back
like social media used to be a highlight reel. You know, you used to be able to post like the highlights of your life,
and then we
did this whole push like be yourselves, be authentic. Cut that out. I don't want to see the number of people who are sobbing and are like, this is a great time to pull my phone out and make a video of me crying on the internet. Cut that out.
Okay, that's fair. I agree with you.
I just got fired from Olive Garden because apparently, like, you know.
Because apparently,
and it's like, and here's the thing: is like we do know. That's what I'm saying. Like I see you crying on the internet. That's the biggest thing. Is the videos of people who are crying on the internet. I go, I understand.
Yeah.
I go, my friends, they don't talk to me anymore. I wouldn't either. If imagine one of the people you know in real life comes across your TikTok feed and they're crying on the internet.
Yeah,
I'm never talking to you again.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I mean, I guess it
depends on what you're crying about. Let's be real. Yeah.
You could have some legitimate cries.
Yeah, you can have some cries. And it also depends. Hold on. If you're making a video and you start crying, different. If the video opens and you're
already sobbing,
you are a psycho. Go get some friends. Go get a counselor.
Yeah. That's fair.
What you don't do to run from your feelings is join the army, do Vietnam, and then steal a bunch of artifacts. Like Forrest Fenn.
So he gets back from the war.
Okay.
Calls up his friend Rex, Rex Aerosmith, and he says, which is his real last name apparently. I don't know if it was that before Aerosmith or if he just liked
it.
Yeah, and changed it. I do not know. I can't find much about him.
Okay.
But he calls up his friend Rex and says, hey, I got all these rare artifacts. And Rex is like, you know what? I've got some rare artifacts as well. Are you okay over there? What are you doing?
Hold on.
No, I don't hear anything.
Well, it does it every once in a while.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's like I watched this video yesterday, and this girl, she was sitting at her desk, and she said, hey, if you like this song, flash the light. And for some reason, she set her camera up in the other room. And so you looked through the doorway into the room where the flashlight was. And then she starts playing the song and she's dancing around. And then the flashlight is flashing. And she's like, look, the ghost likes the song. And really what's happening is like your flashlight's almost out of batteries. It's kind of a similar thing where you're like, oh, you're just crazy.
If I died and then I am forced, my soul is trapped in a house with a teenage girl. And then
that's the undercut. My soul's trapped in a house with a teenage girl.
I'm saying, let's take this from the ghost's perspective. Because the ghost is just minding its own eternal damnation business, right?
Yeah.
And it's stuck in this house. And then the girl's like, do you like this song? you can't go anywhere.
You can't leave.
You can't leave. And
it's just hot to go.
Got a pocket full of
Oh, God. For the 75th time of the day.
And the ghost is like, alive me, I guess. I don't know what the ghost says.
I wish I was alive.
I wish I was alive.
I'd rather be alive.
I wish I was alive so someone could kill me right now.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good bit. You'll see that in my next stand-up special.
That's the bummer about being a ghost. Like, you don't get to choose who you haunt. Like, they just show up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't get to choose your haunts.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I know. Yeah, you have no control over who shows up.
And that's okay. And that's why it's like you had to have I'm trying. Hold on. Stick with me. Shut up.
Give it to you.
Haunt Owners Association.
There we go.
HOA for ghosts.
Yeah.
Like a homeowner association, you can kind of control who your neighbors are a little bit.
Yeah.
Some strict rules. If you're a ghost and you die in that house, and then some idiot moves in.
Yeah. The rest of the neighbor, all the ghosts in the neighborhood have to work together to make sure that the people trying to buy the house aren't undesirable haunts.
Yeah. What if you're a ghost? And then a hoarder moves in, but then they also die in the house. Now you're stuck.
Now you're stuck with a hoarding ghost.
Yeah.
And they're hoarding all these other
roommate
ghost stuff. Yeah.
No one talks about that.
No one talks about having to live with young ghosts.
Of course they're mad all the time.
Yeah.
Young ghost.
No control who moves in.
Rapper name.
Young Ghost is the new Young Sheldon. It's after he died.
Not like that. Bazinga.
So Fenn calls up his friend Rex and he says, "Hey,
Young Sheldon did like 11 seasons. Isn't that freaking crazy to you? Is that not wild to other people? That there's people who enjoy that nonsense. I guess they look at our show."
Isn't it wild?
And they go, look at that nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what? Like what you like. Never mind. I was judgmental for a second. That was on me.
Yeah.
In the early days of this show, we did like affiliate ads where we were like, hey, sign up for Grammarly and use code TILLN and we got like 15 cents. And now we just do Patreon. It's a much better way. It's better for us as creators. It's better for you as listeners. And it's a much more fun way for us to interact. We do monthly hangouts like on Zoom. We just hang out and play games online and get to know each other. It's a really fun time. So, but still use our code TILLN at Grammarly.com because I think it's still active. We might get like a couple cents from that.
Yeah.
But join us on Patreon because we're having a great time.
Yeah. If you don't, we're going to have to start doing mobile game ads.
So these artifacts.
He calls Rex. He says, "Hey, Rex, I got a bunch of cool artifacts." And Rex is like, "Me too, dude." And he's like, "Where'd you
get?" Wait, did you rob that place too? Yeah, man.
And they're like, "We should open up a gallery." And so they open up the Aerosmith Fenn gallery. They put Aerosmith first because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Eventually Aerosmith gets pushed out and it becomes just the Fenn gallery. And this actually becomes, they're in Santa Fe, New Mexico, internationally acclaimed gallery. And they sell of artifacts, primarily Native American artifacts, paintings, sculptures, other art, copies of works from like famous artists too. Like they have like, and we should state these are forged copies of like Monet's, but they got them in the gallery. And because it's Monet, a Monet forgery, I guess, is still somehow valuable. I don't know.
A ship in the sea, and it's an original because they what they did.
Yeah,
they pretended to be cops.
Okay.
And then they duct taped the security guard's eyes shut.
Yeah.
And put him in a basement. He didn't look like a security guard. He looked like a stoner. And they put him in the basement and they stole those paintings.
Yeah.
And then they took him to Santa Fe. Santa Fe. It's a Newsies reference for you know about the Newsies? So Yeah. And they took it to Santa Fe, and then they have it, and they're like, it's forged. It's not a real one, but it is the real one.
It is the real one, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
What am I referencing?
You're referencing that heist episode we did. I couldn't tell you what the heist was called, but I do know we did.
Gardner Museum
Gardner
heist.
Museum heist. Yep. So their gallery, over time, gets to the point where it's grossing $6 million a year in revenue.
Oh my!
So
gosh.
like they're very successful with this gallery.
Gallery.
Yeah, we should steal stuff.
Oh,
that's what they were doing, kind of.
That's what
allegedly.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
allegedly.
Were they stealing everything?
Well, allegedly.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess matter of fact, now that you bring it up, in 2009, the
Comes
FBI
out that he never even went to Vietnam.
It comes out that he's not even real. In 2009, the FBI shows up at his house as a part of Operation Cerberus Action.
Sick.
Which essentially was this FBI sting.
Okay.
Where they... it's a little weird. Like, it's primarily in this one city in Utah, but there's a couple people in like around Four Corners.
Yeah.
And then some people in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay.
That were targeted. And there's about 100 armed FBI agents on the same day went and they found what was allegedly a grave robbery ring. A bunch of people who were stealing Native American artifacts from burial grounds. And as a part of like a, I don't know what to call it, like an effort from the U.S. government to right some of the wrongs that we have committed against the Native American population over history. And so they were cracking down on...
I never learned about any of that in school.
Cracking down.
I only learned about how great this nation is.
Yeah. So they were cracking down on...
You just want to see how bad we are as a country. And listen, I'm proud to be an American. I'm not saying that. I'm just acknowledging, you ever look up how many buffaloes we killed?
Yeah, a lot of them.
You ever see the pictures of the buff? Like, let's just look that up.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Take a gander.
Yeah.
We can't do an episode on it because it's not funny.
It's not funny.
Neither is this story. This is real serious.
So what was funny about it was... No, so they did confiscate a couple items from his home.
Yeah.
He didn't get arrested, though, but 23 people did get arrested for being a part of this grave robbery.
He was like, I just bought it off a guy.
Yeah, I'm a little confused how he didn't get arrested.
Sure.
But as a result, there was 3 people who were targeted by the FBI that ended up taking their own life, and it became a massive scandal. Because it was like the FBI caused these people's deaths, and the FBI was like, those people broke the law.
I don't think we could. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like they took their lives because they were afraid of the consequences of their actions. And so it became a huge scandal.
Yeah, me trying to hold you accountable isn't.
Yeah.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah. So it became this huge scandal, right? He was involved in that.
Well, if you didn't try to hold them accountable, then they wouldn't have had that mental breakdown. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. All right. And so meanwhile, there's this thing brewing in Forrest Fenn. And it dates all the way back to 1988. Because in 1988, this is going to sound crazy the way I started this.
58 years old.
Yeah. So in 1988, he's diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
And he's a big outdoorsman. And so he said that he's a big outdoorsman. Remember, he's also got a bunch of rare artifacts. And so in 1988, when he's diagnosed with cancer, he decides, you know what, when this becomes terminal, when this gets to the point where it's like, you only have a few months to live, he's like, I'm going to bury a treasure. And then I'm going to take my life on top of that treasure. That's what he decides. He's like, that's how I want to go.
Okay.
And so he starts putting together his treasure. And so he goes through some of his favorite artifacts that he has acquired somehow and putting together a treasure.
Okay.
Ends up going into remission and becoming totally fine. And so he's just, for a couple decades, sitting on this treasure that he put together.
I saw a stat as far as cancer goes.
Yeah.
That sometime in the last 10 years, we crossed the threshold where more than 50% of people survive cancer now.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember what year it happened, but we now have a higher survival rate of
That's wild.
general cancer.
That's insane. I didn't know that at all. That's wild.
And you know what did that?
Science.
Medicine.
Oh.
Doctors. Science.
Yeah. That's crazy, actually. So he sat on this treasure for like 20 years.
And that lady who can smell cancer.
And that lady who can smell it. He sat on this treasure for like 20 years that he put together. And in 2009, he gets raided. And he's like, the clock is ticking.
Did he bury this treasure already?
No.
When he was preparing his stuff?
No, he didn't bury it yet, but he prepared a treasure. It was waiting for him to be terminal. And then he's like, I'm never going to find a place to hide this.
We can sell that. We can get rid of that over there. That's treasure. That's part of my treasure.
Forrest, that's a Build-A-Bear.
Huh?
That's a Build-A-Bear that you hung on the wall.
Part of my treasure.
No, that's my wife.
She's in there. You don't know.
There's a girl in the bear. What?
The girl in the bear. Okay.
What does that mean? So he survives. He gets raided, survives the raid, and then says, the clock's ticking, I gotta hurry up. I think is what happened. We don't know for sure. He's never come out and said, the clock is ticking, I gotta hurry up. But what happens in 2010?
There's a girl in there.
The FBI raids his
house. The clock is ticking. I gotta get going.
The FBI raids his house. They're looking for artifacts. They're like, sir, do you have any rare artifacts in here?
I gotta go.
And he says, there's a girl in the bear. And they say, that'll be all, sir.
There's a girl in the bear.
You can stay. You're clearly insane. It's fine. So
there's a girl in the bear. Clock's ticking. Okay.
So in 2010, he puts out his memoir and he self-publishes it. It's called The Thrill of the Chase, a memoir.
Heck yeah.
And so he goes to a local bookstore to sell his memoir from a local bookstore. No, it's just like, he's like, hey, will you sell some of my books? And they're like, sure, I don't care. And so he puts it, it's just a collection of short stories from his life.
Right.
And then on one page, there's just this. And it just says, The Thrill of the Chase. It's a map of the Rocky Mountains. And on the side of it is a poem. And I'm going to read this poem to you. You want to hear it?
Please. Can you put some music behind this?
Begin it where...
Don't put music that fits the poem. I want to be really clear. Like, I thought you were going to put some kind of soothing music or something behind it. No.
Nope.
Okay, put some soothing music behind it.
Okay, so
put the sound of rushing water behind. You know, like one of those sound machines,
that fits.
like a creek bed or something.
Yeah, like ASMR.
Never mind.
Never mind. Keep it silent. Actually, just mute him.
Don't
let him talk. All right, it says, begin it where warm waters halt.
Okay, I'll read it. How about that? Because I can read.
And take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk. Put in below the home of Brown. From there, it's no place for the meek. The end is drawing ever nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. If you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down, your quest to cease. But tarry scant with marvel gaze, just take the chest and go in peace. And then he just straight up says, I've hidden and buried treasure.
I love something that's like rhyming and all that stuff. Take the chest and go in peace. I've hidden $2.7 million in a chest in the Rocky Mountains, and you're like, oh, could you try to rhyme that?
Yeah, he says I've hidden a collection of my artifacts in a 10-inch by 6-inch chest, bronze chest. It's somewhere north of Santa Fe in the mountains. And he adds a picture of all of the artifacts. And so it's like, it is gold, it's necklaces, it's rare metals. There's like some sort of rolled scroll thing in there. Okay. And so the estimate is that this is, depending on the appraisal value after people see the quality of it, somewhere between $1 million and $5 million worth of artifacts in this chest. And the chest itself is also an artifact. Right. And he says, I've left it. Whoever finds it can have it. And
what year did he bury it?
2010 is when the book is published. And so,
Okay.
so this goes to the local store, and the shop owner's like, I don't want to sell your book. And he's like, there's a treasure hunt in it.
There's a map in the book.
And she says, what?
There's a girl in the bear and a map in the book. I don't understand. Yeah, you'll never find it.
You're not going to find it.
You're not going to find it. This is like in 2012 2011 rather, when Dodge released the all-new Dodge Journey. What? And this is real. And do you not know about this? In 2011, 2012, sometime in that window, when the Dodge Journey came out, Dodge hid like 4 or 5 different Dodge Journeys around different places, and then they just in the commercials would just show a picture of like a road sign or like a tree.
Oh, kind of like whatever. That game that people play on TikTok, the GeoGuessr.
Yes. And literally they were like, the keys are in the car.
That's crazy.
And they just gave away 5 Dodge Journey, and they were all like
pretty sick though.
And they were all located near like, like a beautiful scenery kind of stuff. None of them were just like in a parking lot at a Best Buy.
Jeez. Yeah.
But and they just gave away Dodge Journeys.
That's kind of cool.
It was pretty sick.
Did everyone find them?
Yeah, the problem is the Dodge Journey sucks. I don't know if you've been in it.
I couldn't even tell you what a Dodge Journey is.
Mid-size SUV. Not a good car.
Oh yeah, it looks like a minivan.
Look up
but
the
it's
Dodge
like
Journey release
trying
campaign.
to not look like a minivan.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe you'd like it. You seem to like bad things.
I do think we pretend that minivan doors aren't as cool as they are.
I was just thinking this the other day. I'm glad you said it. It's so crazy. People are like, "Oh, Tesla doors!" Like, guys, we figured out doors already.
Yeah,
guys, it's really cool if you look at a van door, how it opens, and we have that big of a gap. That's crazy.
It's so sick.
The Ford Econoline vans we have were open bad, too much space,
too much
minivan.
So sick. We used to do that. Did you ever ride with Michael Borders in his minivan?
I can't say that I have.
His minivan door was broken, so like, or it was either broken.
You'd ride it like a chopper.
It was either broken or it was before they had the safety feature. But yeah, you could open it, and he had the swivel seats, so you could open the door and swivel and hang your legs out. And he would get so mad. But me and Todd, same guy who drank everyone's waters, we would yell chopper gunner. We would open our doors, swivel our things, and we would take his icebreaker or his ice. What do you call that? Ice scraper. And we would just be like, on Glenstone. And everyone would look at us and be like, you guys are dumb. I'm calling the cops.
Yeah.
You guys look like a bunch of losers. And that minivan pretending you're a chopper.
That's crazy you didn't have a girlfriend at Evangel. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend at Missouri State University.
Go Bears. Where were you going with that? So, did you look up the Dodge Journey release campaign?
Yeah, I did. I closed the tab, though.
All right.
So
we'll save it after the fiddle. That's the stuff you can pay extra to hear us talk about is the Dodge Journey release campaign.
So he takes the book. They're like, we're not interested. He's like, there's a treasure hunt. They're like, that's a great idea. That's a good way to market this book. So they take it, and
he's like, well, don't tell everybody. It's kind of a fun little.
It's kind of like a fun little like surprise if they finish the book.
But I also kind of want them to read the story. It's a beautiful love story of a. Of a 32-year-old man and a 26-year-old gal who she shows up out, he's in Nam. I don't know if you know, but I did that. And she's there. It's more eloquently written in the book.
Yeah, it's put a little better.
Now she's in the story ends, I'll give away the ending. She's in a bear.
Yeah, now she's in a bear.
But her ghost told me that she likes the music I've been listening to lately, so that's fun.
They're all rid of your books if you leave this store right now.
Well, yeah, I'll just buy 1,000 of these. Just please get out of here and never come back.
So he puts the books out. He starts going on some local like daytime TV shows to promote it.
Okay.
And it becomes a relatively, and when I say daytime TV, I should be clear, like daytime public access television in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's just local daytime TV. But it garners some attention.
All of their sets look like this. You know what I'm saying? All of their sets were like that black curtain with the round table.
Yeah,
that's what
right.
public access television was. I wish we could put this on public. We can, right? We can put this on public access.
Yeah, we could make some calls. That'd be freaking hilarious.
Calls to who?
For like the 11 o'clock hour of PBS.
Can we get on the public access?
That's kind of sick, actually. We should call Evergreen and see if they can make that happen. Well, if you're watching on public access, it worked.
Did it.
If you're not, sorry. So,
that's my new tour campaign, is just trying to get on public access television in that city. And I'm just like, I'm literally just going to only sell tickets to people who watch public access television.
Access TV, yeah. Okay, so
Alex just sent us a link.
A link to sign up for public access TV.
Also to join his DoorDash order.
He's like, yeah, can you guys pay for this?
Just tell the story, please. I've been doing bits.
So dozens of people go start looking for this treasure. Mm-hmm. And they're all looking in the like mountains north of Santa Fe, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing about the people who find this. They are the kind of people who watch public access television. So they're not like outdoorsy people. This starts slowly spreading. An online community forms and it slowly spreads. And over the course of the next few years, it goes from a few dozen people in Santa Fe to a few hundred people in New Mexico to a few thousand people throughout the Rocky Mountain region. Right. And again, these are not the kind of people who are really outdoorsy people and understand the outdoors. And so they're going out and they're putting themselves in
dangerous situations.
Yeah, in situations that are dangerous if you're not aware of what you're doing. You know, like it's not inherently dangerous. Well, some of them are dangerous. Like there was a group that had to get rescued from the Grand Canyon because they tried to rappel down the walls, but they didn't have enough rope. They didn't calculate how much rope they needed to rappel down, and so they had to get rescued. Which also, didn't know this, but they got fined $4,000 each, and they got a 7-year ban from the canyon for that because because the rescue, like you have to pay for your rescue.
No, my buddy Derek got rescued for free.
Well, it must be just depending on the park then. I don't know. These guys got and maybe in that case it was like, oh, you weren't doing anything wrong. Maybe because this was like you were irresponsible.
You were rappelling down the canyon without a permit to do that kind of thing.
Maybe it was like, you did something you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
You were being a dumb.
Yeah. He was being a dumb, but he he just went down a hill but didn't know he couldn't get back up.
Yeah.
They helicopter rescued him.
That's hilarious, actually.
Yeah. Because his friends I think I told him on the podcast before, I thought. Yeah. But his so he's with a group of friends. Helicopter comes and gets him, and then they just flies away. You have no way. The helicopter doesn't go, hey, meet us at the Jack Stack down the road, you know?
Hey, we're taking him over to
We're going to go to Hardee's. You guys want to meet us over there?
It's just like they're gone. Where are they taking him?
You just go, I guess we got to find out where that helicopter went.
Does anybody have him on Find My Friends?
That was...
hopefully that was the rescue.
Hopefully that was because what if the helicopter comes...
billionaire.
takes Derek away, and then 5 minutes later, the park ranger's helicopter rolls up, and you're like,
"Wait, who was the other helicopter?" I thought that helicopter was the helicopter.
Jeffrey Bezos. He's out there with his sunglasses and his ripped arms. You know, he's not doing legs, and he's like. You know,
he's like, I got that guy. Ding! I got that dumb in the national park.
He blinds the park ranger's helicopter with the shine from his bald head, and it like he's like a laser. I'm tired of Batman villains being like super realistic. Like, give me one that shines the sun off his bald head. You know what I'm saying? Give me like a villain that's like, hey, here's my shrink ray. You know, like give me those instead of like this. Came from a dark. My dad cut these scars into my. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't want to be able to relate with your villains.
I want to know that you went crazy and you do that makeup every day. You know. I don't need it to be like, oh, my mouth is just shaped like this now. My wife is in the bear. You know?
So anyway, a bunch of people who didn't know what they were doing.
We're shrinking. We're shrinking, Robin. Oh, no. That's the kind of stuff we need. I need Jeff Bezos to be shining lights off this bald, glistening head.
Okay, so this blows up on the internet. This blows up.
You see the glare, right? I mean, you've been looking at nothing but it. What am I talking about? You see it, right? Freaking it messes up. We don't even use a white balance thing. We literally just sit down and they white balance off the glare on his head.
I told my wife the other day, I said, what would you think if I dyed my hair gray? And she was like, why would you do that? She's like, that'll just make you go bald faster because you'll have to bleach it. Like, I'd have to bleach it to go gray.
Oh, true.
And I told her, I said, well, here's the deal. I'm going to go bald in the next 5 years, no matter what. And I was like, so I feel like
I don't think it's thinning that fast.
I think there's
you crap for it because it's not that bad yet.
I don't think I'm going to make it to 40 with hair. And so I think that I need to, if I ever want to go gray, do it soon. Because I'm not going to have a chance.
How am I supposed to be a silver fox? If I don't dye my hair gray now,
I might miss my chance at going gray if I don't force it. She thinks it's a bad idea.
So thousands of people are now looking for...
Yeah, it becomes like this big online community. They're all they call them solves. They're all putting together their solves.
Sure.
Where they're online, they're sharing what they think, and it's all over the map. It's everywhere from the hot springs in New Mexico to the Grand Canyon to Yellowstone to the middle of the Colorado. It's all over the Rocky Mountains, people's solves.
Yeah.
Because you heard that poem. It is not very descriptive. Like, it could be pretty much anywhere. What is also happening is he's continuing to go on these daytime PBS local access Santa Fe, New Mexico shows.
No one's found it.
And he's doing these interviews, and he just keeps giving out little hints in these interviews. And so he's like sharing these little tidbits of hints. And so people are putting together what this could be. Okay. It's growing. It's becoming a bigger thing. And it lasts until 2016, 6 years of this chase that people are going. And a guy by the name of Randy Ballou, he went working.
Has he died at this point? He's alive.
Who? Forrest?
Forrest.
Oh, yeah. Forrest is alive.
Okay.
So Randy Ballou goes looking for the treasure, thinks he knows where it might be, but then he goes missing. And long story short, a couple weeks later, some workers discover his body floating down the Rio Grande River, and they couldn't determine the cause of death, but he went missing out searching for the treasure. So then this becomes a national scandal. News all over the country, like 24/7 news channels are picking it up and running stories on this treasure hunt leads to a man going missing and dying in the Rio Grande. And so now he's getting put under all this media scrutiny, and they're asking him all these questions, trying to say, "Oh, are you going to cancel the hunt? Like, are you going to call it? Because now it's like dangerous."
Yeah.
And he puts his foot down and basically says, "No, it's his fault." He doesn't say that, but he kind of does.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't say it's his fault, but he says a quote he said over and over again. He said, "If a child drowns in a swimming pool, do we drain the pool?" He said, "No, we teach the kids how to swim." Yeah. And so he's his whole motivation for the hunt, and what he had said multiple times is he's like, I want to encourage people to get off their couch and go do something and like go out in the world. He's like, the Rocky Mountains are a beautiful place. Like, he was a avid like fly fisher, and he loved all like the outdoors, a big outdoorsman. And so he wanted to create something that got people going out and living out in the world, something kind of fun. And so he thought that the good outweighed the bad here, but this him like digging his heels in on that made it even more scandalous. And so more and more coverage was happening, and more pressure getting put on him to cancel the hunt, but he just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
That pressure and that publicity blew the hunt up. And so it went from a few thousand to over 100,000 people participating in this now, trying to figure out what this is. Cause they're like, oh, somebody died looking for a treasure. I should do it.
Yeah.
And
all this was super popular, 2016, 2017, and then Pokemon Go came out. And everyone was like, this is way easier.
It's so much easier to find the Pokemon digitally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is where it just reaches astronomical levels. And so the situation in the news and in the publicity of like the death starts to simmer down a little bit. But now there's hundreds of thousands of people doing this. They're posting videos online. They're posting YouTube videos, sharing their solves, all their theories, showing videos of them out. They call it boots on the ground, doing their searches out in somewhere in the Rocky Mountains, and crazy videos of people getting bit by snakes and like snowmobiling and crashing their snowmobiles. Like it's all over the internet. So the Today Show is like, well, this seems like this might be good television now. So the Today Show starts having him as a regular recurring guest, almost like bi-weekly, where he comes in and he shares a hint nationally on the Today Show. And so it becomes, it's now like a larger than life thing.
Sure.
And the majority of people that are participating in this they've read the book, they've read the poem, they've got their solve, they have their theories, they're going out, they're camping, they're doing their hunt, they're doing whatever. There's a handful of people that are getting a little insane. For example, there's a guy, let me see, I can't remember what his name was, but his name doesn't matter that much. There's a guy who becomes convinced.
Okay.
There's a guy who becomes convinced that the treasure, that the poem leads to Forrest Fenn's house. And he's like, he hid the treasure in his house. He's like, that's why. His name is Robert Miller. And he's like, so I need to go there. So he flies from Pennsylvania to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And he waits for Forrest Fenn to leave. And he breaks into his house. And he steals a chest from his house. Doesn't open it because the chest was filled with clothes. But he sees this old looking chest. He says, like, that must be the treasure. And so on his way out, Forrest Fenn's grandson happens to see him. His grandson's an adult, by the way. This isn't a kid. Yeah. His grandson sees him and basically like blockades him from getting off the property until the police arrive. The police show up and we have this body cam footage with this subtitle. I'll let you read this.
I thought the poem directed me into here.
I thought it said it was in his house is what he goes on to say.
I thought the poem directed me into here.
And the best part about this is in the body cam video, you can hear the cops say a poem, and he said, yeah, the treasure hunt. And the cop's like, like you can just hear that audible sigh.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's this. And then there are people calling Forrest and like threatening his life to be like, if you don't tell me where this is, I'll kill you. And then there's also...
Whoa.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like it, there is some great news for you. We have a mailing list. In that mailing list, we give updates on past episodes. So things in the news, things that happen for episodes. We've got over 200 episodes we've done. And every week, things are changing. New updates are coming out. And we're keeping you up to date on what's happening in the happenings of TILLN Topics. So if you want to keep learning stuff, even beyond the content of the episodes, that's a great place to do it. Also, we give updates on things that's happening in the TILLN verse. I like that. I've never said TILLN verse before, but I'm sticking with it. If you want to know what's happening in the TILLN verse, that's the best place to do it. You can go to TILLN.com. There's a link in the description, or you can text TILLN to 66866. There's a lot of ways to sign up for the mailing list to make sure you keep up to date with everything that we've talked about and everything that's going on in the TILLN verse. But anyways, now back to this episode. There's also a guy.
Oh, I've got cancer anyway.
What am I supposed to be afraid of you? I did not.
I did not.
So you know who you're talking to?
I survived this cancer.
I'm the treasure guy.
Hidden a treasure that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, so he very clearly is like loving the attention, by the way.
Yeah. For sure.
There's like conferences he's holding where he does book signings and like he meets all these people at the conferences.
Yeah, he's making so much money from this.
Oh, for sure. He's did a lot of book sales.
All you gotta do is
public appearances.
Is say, here's the play. Say you've hidden a treasure, not actually. And then write a book about it, do the conferences, make enough money that you can then actually bury a treasure. Right?
Well, here's the thing. It was a pretty big conspiracy that there was no treasure at this point. Because now it's like, it's been like 8 years. It's like, there's no way there's actually a treasure out there. This was just a marketing ploy. And so now he's having to backtrack and be like, no, there's a real treasure. I promise you there's a real treasure. You guys find the treasure.
Guys. What I'm saying is that then you can make enough money that you can actually bury a real treasure. And then you let someone find it.
Yeah.
So then you go, but I've also buried another one, and you just breadcrumb them.
Yep. You just slowly.
And for $20 a month, you can join my
Patreon, and I have special hints in there.
My
premium hints.
Seeker group. Anyway.
So another guy became convinced after reading the book and the poem. He became convinced. This is crazy. He became convinced that the treasure was Forrest Fenn's granddaughter, and he wanted someone to marry her. And if they could figure out the poem, then they could have her.
No, Forrest, I figured out the poem. She's mine. That's not what the poem is. No. I figured it out.
I figured it out.
She's betrothed to me.
Yeah, because I solved it.
And then she's like, he solved it. like, what's the thought process there?
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Granddad, he did figure it out.
Solve the treasure.
Yeah.
I am the treasure. You do call me treasure, Grandpa.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So, and it actually became very serious. Like, he started stalking her, and they had to, the whole family had to go into protective custody for a little bit until they got the guy. Like, it was a major serious thing.
Yeah.
So this is obviously, and then in 2017, I almost forgot, in 2017, 3 more people died out doing the hunts. There was a group of people who they rented snowmobiles to go up in the mountains, but they were not graded for the amount of snow that they traveled in.
Yeah.
Got stuck, died. Another pastor drowned.
Got stuck, died. Pastor?
Yeah, a pastor went looking for it. Pastor Paris Wallace from Grand Junction. He went out there and I believe he drowned because he was found downstream 7 miles from where he said he was. And then another one also in Colorado also passed away looking for it. His raft overturned. And he got trapped there. Crazily though, he went out there with his dog, like a little Shih Tzu, and they found his dog survived, but he died, and it's like the raft somehow like overturned. So, and then, so at this point, now the pressure's getting stronger and stronger and stronger to cancel, call off the hunt. And people are starting to say, okay, 1 person died last year, 3 people died this year. There's more and more attention getting put on this. More and more people are trying this who don't have any experience in the outdoors, putting themselves at risk. And so he starts putting out some hints to be a little bit more like, hey, don't be dumb.
Yeah.
And so he starts saying, like, he starts putting an elevation limit. He rules out specific, like he says, it's not in Idaho, it's not in Utah. He says, don't go anywhere where a 80-year-old man couldn't go because I put this there. And so like he starts giving a lot of hints towards like this shouldn't be dangerous. Like you should never be going somewhere dangerous. And so nobody dies in 2018. Nobody dies in 2019. But in 2020,
oh yeah, people are outside, dude.
In 2020, in March 21st, 2020, the 5th person was killed out here outside of Dinosaur National Monument, searching for the treasure again. And so
I feel like you spent so much time at the beginning of the episode talking about this guy, and then really it's about the treasure. But now you're going to be like trying to rush the treasure story at the end because you're like, oh shoot, this is super long. And I just need you to know, I'm not going to take the blame for that. Because like this is really interesting here at the end, but you spent the first half of this being like, Forrest Fenn, he did Nam, and so he's got this museum, and he did like the Antique Road show, and also he made a map. And people have died searching for this treasure. You're like, that's the interesting part. Maybe jump to that next time, dude. Because I'm thinking like the way that I'm going to have to market this episode is about the treasure hunt. People are going to find the episode and they're going to sit through 30 minutes of me being like honking and bonking. And they're going to be so like, no one's going to get to this point of the episode. It's really freaking annoying. So in 2020, March 21st, who died?
It was, what was it? I scrolled so far past that. Michael Wayne Sexton. He passed away looking for it. Here's the thing. throughout the course of this blew up to the point where BuzzFeed did a search for it. Discovery Channel's Expedition Unknown did a search for it. There was a show on Apple TV about it. Like, this was all over the place. Like, this was mainstream big news. Sure. It became a best-selling book.
Yeah.
But again, so much controversy because so many people are getting hurt and so many people are dying. And so they're telling him to call it off. His granddaughter is getting stalked.
Yeah.
His house has been broken into.
She's now married to a psycho. They went through with it.
and it's 2020. So this has been out for 10 years. People have been looking for this. And so there's a lot of chatter online about what's going to happen. The lockdown starting in 2020. And so this is kind of this weird, like, double-edged sword because more people have more time to do solves, but some parks have weird rules and weird hours now. So, like, things are getting harder to get into and do the searches. There's not a lot of word from Forrest for a while. And so there starts to become some speculation that, he's going to shut it down. And then he comes forward and he says somebody found it. And he says, but they wish to...
But how would he know?
Well, what I should say is there was a... one extra item that he kept that he was like, I will give to the person who finds it, but you have to bring me the treasure to get that other item. Oh. And so it was kind of an incentive to be like, I want to meet you, basically. Yeah. But this person who found it came to him and was like, hey, I found it, brought him the treasure, showed him the treasure and everything. And allegedly told him, I wish to remain anonymous. And so Forrest...
That's crap. That's made up. That's dumb. You're telling me a guy who stole a bunch of artifacts from Vietnam is going to be honest about that? No, come on. This is what I'm saying, okay? Is that I can see this stuff and I go, this is stupid and made up. Easy. That's how easy that is, just so you know.
So Forrest honors this guy's wishes and comes forward and says, yeah, hey, everybody, somebody found it.
Hey, guys, somebody found it, but I can't tell you who. I'm just saying, be on the lookout for my granddaughter's wedding.
Yeah. So he says someone found it. And he puts out this, in June 6th, 2020, he puts out a post on the Searcher blog that was started for the Thrill of the Chase, saying that the treasure had been found. He said it was under a canopy in the lush forested vegetation of the Rocky Mountains, and it had not been moved from the spot where I hid it over 10 years ago. He said, I do know the person who found it, but the poem in my book led him to the precise spot. I congratulate the thousands of people who participated in the search and hope they will continue to be drawn by the promise of other discoveries. So the search is over. Look for more information and photos in the coming days. No more information or photos came. Everybody was like, wait, where was it hidden though? Like, tell us where you hid it. Like, now that it's been found, we just want to know if we were close. Like, were we figuring it out? Because that was one of the other frustrating things is people were posting all this stuff online. So he saw people's solves. He knew where it was. And so there was multiple interviews where he's like, I've seen some people are like within feet of where I hid it on their searches. And they haven't found it yet. So he's like, there have been people who have been very, very close.
Okay.
And so people are wanting to know, like, was I one of the close ones? Because obviously everybody hears that and thinks, oh, I was just feet away from it. I was the one who was almost there. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't come forward. He doesn't say what it is. And then in September 7th that year, he ends up dying.
Because he never hid it.
And so this becomes a thing. The family of Forrest is dealing with his death. All of the post-life things you have to handle.
Granddaughter's like, do I still have to go through with this?
I still have to marry this guy. And so they're dealing with all of this.
And the ghost of the granddad turned the flashlight on. That meant yes. And so Forrest was like, yes. He found it.
And so
them's the rules.
They're getting all these calls from searchers all the time to be like, hey, I know Forrest just died. Can you tell us where the treasure was? And they're getting really mad about it.
Because they don't know.
Well, they don't know, but also like they're like, hey, yeah, my grandpa just died. My dad just died. Can you leave us alone and let us deal with this?
Yeah.
You stalked us for the last 10 years, you psychopaths.
We're going to bury him.
We're going to bury him and we're going to
where
fill
the treasure was. So you tell me if you can find him.
And so they I guess the grandson got to, because he had lived in the guest house at his father's house at the time, got to meet the guy who found it. Oh. He was a part of the quote unquote cover up, I guess, or agreed to not publicize that. And as a part of this whole drama of everything that happened, he said, we can't take this anymore. We're going to go public with who you are. So you have to tell everybody what happened and they can stop bothering us. And so the family of Forrest comes forward after a few months of being hounded and says that medical student Jack Stoof, this guy here, is the guy who found it. And so this is a picture when he brought the treasure to Forrest.
Oh my gosh.
To show him.
I take treasure. Back what I said. You are not gullible and dumb. Turns out he did.
And so
he did do it. But I'll tell you what, that guy is not what you thought he was going to look like, is he? That's not what you thought a great adventurer treasure finder would look like, huh?
This guy was a former journalist, but turned medical student. He was in medical school. He was actually had only been searching for 2 years, but he solved the poem before ever going out, and then he went out and he found it. He posted,
when did he find it?
When it went public. He found it in 2020, in the beginning of 2020.
Wow.
He posted this picture, and it was not buried. It was literally just in some brush in the woods. And it had been sitting there undisturbed for 20 years, that case. Or not 20 years, 10 years. 10 years just sitting there in the woods. But here's the thing. It goes public. Jack's name is now out there. But he doesn't share where he found it. And everyone's like, okay, where was it? He wouldn't share it. And so everybody else is still out there.
Because it wasn't hidden. They never hid it. Jack's a part of this. It's just a made-up scheme to sell more books.
And so everybody goes out there trying to continued trying to find the resting space of where this was by looking at the picture that he posted. And saying, well, we know the clues that Forrest gave us. We have this picture. If we could match that little spot of dirt to somewhere in the woods, we could figure out where this was left. They never put it out
there, guys. It's all made up.
And so people continued searching for it after, even after Forrest died, to try to find the treasure. Eventually, Jack took the treasure to auction. He sold it at auction for $1.3 million.
That's low.
Yeah. I mean, they did say between 1 and 5.
Yeah, but I feel like there's more lore around it, that it could have been more because...
You would think so.
Yeah.
You would think so. They sold it not as a lot. They sold it as separate items.
Oh, okay.
And so a bunch of the treasure hunters came and bought individual items in this so they could have a piece of the treasure.
Yeah.
And yeah, he made $1.3 million off of it. And that's Forrest.
That he split with the family because it's an entire cover-up that was never hidden. That's actually a really smart play.
It's a really good marketing campaign for a book.
It's a really smart play.
When you find out. I mean, but to be fair.
And the book was fine.
To be fair, if you put yourself in...
Shush. If you listen to the even-numbered episodes of our podcast, in it are directions to a hidden treasure. You gonna fidget with this? What is it?
Yeah, sorry, you were making me nervous.
And if you listen to the odd numbers, it's directions on how to fiddle off the devil.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like this one, you might like The Lost Dutchman Mine. There's a guy who drew a map in the shape of a heart. They call it the Heart Map. Creative name. Another treasure hunting episode. So check that one out. And if you like this show, you can check out next week's episode right now on our Patreon. All you got to do is go to TILLN.com/support. And you become Patreon supporters. Our supporters get all sorts of perks. They get every episode early with ad-free. They get a Discord with our hosts and producers.
Why do you always
merch
say
discounts,
that?
all sorts of...
I'm really tired of him saying our hosts and producers. What do you... just say us. Our hosts? It's you and me, dude.
I'm the hosts and producers. With me
with
and
us
Jaron
and
Alex.
We're in the... with our hosts and producers. What are we, MSNBC? All of our hosts for this weekend. What are you talking about, dude?
And you can get access to a Discord with our hosts and producers. But this is an Evergreen podcast. You can find out more about Evergreen at evergreenpodcast.com. We'll see you next week.
All the other Evergreen hosts aren't in our Discord.
Things I learned last night.
You say that all the time, and every time I listen to it, I go, I wish he'd quit saying that. And I thought, where else should I confront him but on mic?
In the middle of him saying it.
Well, because I couldn't think of it earlier.
All right,
we'll see you next week. Unless you buy the Patreon where you can get this.
We'll see you right now.
You can join the Discord for our hosts and producers.
We'll talk to you in there.
Well, I don't know. We won't talk to you. Our hosts will. What the heck are you talking about?
Okay.